You have a beautiful road that goes around the peninsula here at Presqu'ile Provincial Park. We've seen how many deer since we've been here? 5? 6? So what can you tell us about this trail here, Chitra?
This is the Job's Woods Trail. It is about 1.4 kilometer and it's a loop. And it goes through the old growth forest, an ash swamp, a field, and a spruce tree plantation from the 1950s. It was part of a farm settled by Thomas and Ezekiel Jobs in 1835.
Cool, and there's a trail guide available too. And we've already done this trail once in 2015, so there's already a post on the website.
Hi there.
Chloe seems to be very excited about this. She really wants to go, even though there's no water on this trail. So we've hiked this trail before when we came with Maya a couple of times. It's actually really beautiful after it rains.
And while it's raining.
And while it's raining, you just have to watch the boardwalks because any kind of wood like that can get slippery. So this is the Job's Woods Trail at Presqu'ile Provincial Park. I'm Tricia from Nature Lover Canada, and here we go on a walking tour of the trail.
That is the base of a sugar maple tree called the Mighty Monarch of the East.
It's huge. Trees are amazing.
Right?
I remember being really shocked the first time I learned that trees had a lifespan. Some trees live longer than others.
Yeah.
Like, and it's a huge range, right?
I did not know that.
No, it's really kind of like, oh, it makes complete sense after you learn it. So, one of the longest living trees is what?
The giant sequoia, I think.
Right, sequoias.
They can live up to 1,500 years.
Something ridiculous. But then you have really, really short living trees like...
Aspens. Aspens live about 60 to 90 years, I think.
This is just a shell.
Oh, a maple tree. Sugar maple. Wow, sugar maples are huge, man.
Look at that. And it just stops, but it's still there. That's cool. Look at the base of that. Can you believe that's a sugar maple? Imagine the sap that has been produced. The maple syrup that's been produced from that tree. Okay, so the trail splits right here and starts the loop. So you can see that part of the trail is just a natural surface, and then when it goes over surfaces that are wet, especially in the spring, they have built beautiful boardwalks that are really, really well maintained by the Friends of Presqu'ile.
Number 2 says there are 4 levels to a forest.
Oh.
The ground with wildflowers and seedlings, and then your eye level, which is, what did they say the eye level is? Your eye level is shrubs and young trees. The understory, which is above that and below the top, which is medium level trees waiting for their opening in the sunlight to go up through. And then there are the
Canopy,
upper
right?
canopy trees. Oh, look at that maple. That thing goes forever.
So the interesting thing about the 3 or the 4 levels that she just spoke of is those also correspond with birds. So birds, you'll find birds at those different levels as well. Presqu'ile is on Lake Ontario. It's a very large lake, one of the Great Lakes here in Canada. And it's gone! Yeah, it's all gone!
Go this way, sweetheart.
Someone's reacting to the airplanes today.
Go this way, honey. Good girl. Come on, look at that. Yes, I know. We're going to go this way. I told you.
Are we at number...
So a branchless rotting tree is called a snag. No, it's right here. A branchless rotting tree is called a snag.
Oh,
So that's that one right there.
right?
And then the ones that fall over,
Like that one.
that produce mounds of lumpy soil and pits, are called pit and mound topography.
So the pit is where the tree creates the divot,
After
where
it gets uprooted, yeah.
yeah. Pit and mound.
There are many, many plants that thrive in pit and mound. And some people want to clean up the forest, and that's the worst thing they could possibly do. They need all of these different kinds of locations for different kinds of vegetation to grow.
And even like, so here's a really good example of one. So it gathers water, it creates a whole different environment for not just plants, but also amphibious, like salamanders and frogs and insects and things like that would normally not thrive as well as they do in these pit and mound type areas.
And also, see all that sand? One time when we were at the pinery, I saw an uprooted tree, and there were a whole bunch of swallow holes right into the sand.
Really?
Yeah.
Like bank swallows?
Yeah.
Cool.
So, what is this called, viewers? A rotting tree with no limbs is called a snag.
A snag. I was going to say stump, but it's a snag.
Snag. Before you are 3 big trees, 2 eastern hemlock and a yellow birch.
Oh, back there.
Yep. These are the 2 tree species that can take advantage of a unique nursery in the old-growth forest. While most tree species need their seeds to reach mineral soils before they grow, these 2 have evolved to take advantage of the many mounds formed by rotting logs and stumps. The seeds germinate on the logs and then send roots down to the soil. After a while, they are on stilts.
Oh, right. We've talked about stilt trees in other videos. It's really cool. Lots of them up in Algonquin. It's a really easy place to spot them, that's for sure. We've seen a lot of cedars doing that as well. Seen some stilted ones, but I'm looking for a good example, just in case you're not sure what it is.
We'll find one.
We'll find one.
Vernal Pools. The pits in an old-growth forest may be the most productive microhabitat in our forest. They fill up in spring with water and become breeding pools and hatcheries for a myriad of creatures. Spotted salamander, newts, and 3 frog species regularly breed here. Male western spring peepers, chorus frogs, and wood frogs come to these pools in April to sing.
So Chloe is pacing a little bit and yawning. Signs of stress. I don't know.
Activity's good for her when she's stressed. So.
You can see these boardwalks are actually quite high. They're at least, 2.5 feet off the ground in some locations. So there's quite a few birches, and as they grow up, as they keep growing, so they're feeding really well off of the decaying wood below them, but of course that decaying wood's going to continue to break down, so eventually they'll be getting their nutrients from the soil, but they're growing from that location, so there's going to be huge stilted trees. You're doing good, honey. You're doing good. What a good girl. Yes, you are. You're such a good puppy. It's very lush in here. We do have some other videos from Presqu'ile from the past. Check those out by going to the Presqu'ile playlist. So over and above a variety of ferns, I'm seeing spotted jewelweed, and I saw some yarrow. These are wildflowers. Chloe's activating to airplanes today.
So this used to be a pasture where the Job's family had their cows, and they let it go wild in the 1950s, I think.
So some more wildflowers that I've spotted are, there's some goldenrod growing, some cow vetch, which is not native, it's a purple flower, and the pink flower that you may have seen as we were walking by is loose strife, also not a native plant. I'm seeing some heel all down underneath, but it's already past its flowering time here anyway. It's a very easy trail. I would imagine it's probably wheelchair accessible. Fine for strollers. Oh, he's sneaking off the trail there for a minute. Not as good for her when she's activated because it's hard for her to sniff from on top of a boardwalk. We spotted some aster. Aster is a hard plant to watch that root to identify because there's so many of them, and some of them look very, very similar.
Okay, so this is called pine plantation, and they tried to replant this area because it had been a farm when it became a park, and because they replanted with all the same kind of trees.
Right.
And it was a lot of different kinds of pine trees, and as the pine trees die, other kinds of trees are coming up through them and actually diversifying, because the benefit of an artificial forest is that you can plant it really quickly and it'll grow. The detractor is that it has very little diversity, and it does not bring animals and different bugs and different insects and different creatures here because they don't have the diversity they need to survive.
Right.
So they're very excited that some of the trees are falling down and other trees are taking their place.
So a natural process is happening from an unnatural planting. So that's good.
So they're looking forward to the deciduous seedlings that are growing up in place of the pine.
And she's running.
There she is.
Oh goodness. We don't know why some days are better than others. Yesterday she put up with it all day, and now today she's just like, nope, not doing it. There's an air base nearby, the Trenton Air Base, I believe. So there are planes taking off and landing and circling all day. So that was Job's Woods Trail at Presqu'ile Provincial Park. It's just over a kilometre. It's not very long. It's not very difficult. Quite flat, accessible, very pretty. It's shaded, and you get to see some really interesting things. And the brochure that the friends created for this trail is really good if you're interested in history or the ecology of a particular trail. Boardwalks are amazing, well maintained. They are composite material for the most part, so they should withstand years and years of use. So this is a fantastic trail. We've been on this trail before. We thoroughly enjoyed it in all different types of weather. Presqu'ile is a beautiful little park. Lots of places to put your toes in. The water is very cold, but that's okay. So if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. We have new videos every Thursday, and hoping to increase that to maybe twice a week. So I am Tricia from Nature Lover Canada. We are, what are we on? This is the 7th of 8 campgrounds that we're visiting this summer in a row. We've already been to McGregor Provincial Park, and we only have a few more days left until we're home. So we hope you have been enjoying the videos. If you haven't seen the other ones, please check them out and leave us some comments below on what you think. If you have any questions about the parks that we might be able to answer for you, don't hesitate to ask. And thanks again for joining. We hope you're finding time to get outside, and if you are, then we'll see you out there.